This one, these are 1/4 nuts. Now, they go from this to this, 12 for that. So at this point, bolts and the bearings, this was 4, and this bearing, or take out the old one, put in a new bearing bolt. I wanted to show you guys how to save yourself some pretty, I don't know, I mean, it's not a ton of money, but it's definitely some money that you could save, and it's actually a lot easier on you to replace just the bearing in a pulley. So these are 3 idler pulleys for the deck on our John Deere, and the only thing that goes bad in these things is the bearing, and I actually can't find a bad one right here right now. This one isn't too bad. Oh yeah, this one. Hear how bad that is? So what I've done here, actually my brother and I did this. So these pulleys are just riveted. These are just 2 pieces of metal that are riveted together. And the bearing inside comes out once you remove these 2 halves. So you drill out the bearings. I'm re-drilling them to 1/4 inch. And then you pull this bearing, the old one, out, and you put in the new one, obviously inside here, and then you bolt it back together with some... These are 1/4 inch bolts, 1/4 by 1 inch. These are 1/4 nuts. Now, I would recommend the locking nuts, you know, the one with the little nylon end on it. And then a washer on each side also. And then just because I can, put on some, just 1 lock washer also. So 1 bolt, 1 lock nut, 2 washers, 1 lock washer in the holes here all the way around. And then by the time you're done, now I have marked where these pulleys came apart, so you know they're pretty much in line where it should be, if that would make any difference. And they go from this to this. Now the bolts are a tad bit longer than I would care for, but they do not stick proud of the pulley, not whatsoever. But you can see there's, what are they, 2, 4, 6, 8 bolts in here, and I think these are probably even stronger than a rivet, maybe. I'm not really sure, but 8 bolts, that'd be 16 washers, 8 lock washers, and 8 nuts. And I put a new bearing in, and just like that, we have now rebuilt the pulley. You know, all your wear happens in the bearing, and this one's really hard to turn. And one of these bearings, this same bearing, I found online for about 12 bucks, and you can buy the whole pulley from John Deere for probably 13. So at that point there, it's not even worth doing this. However, what I did was I took the thickness of the bearing, the inner diameter, you know how big the inside of this is, and then I took the outside diameter, the total width. So the total width, the total thickness, and the total inside diameter. And I was able to find these bearings online. I bought 20 of them, 20 bearings for $30. So they're roughly $1.50 each versus 12 for that. So at this point, it's worth it to rebuild these pulleys like I'm doing it, because this one pulley right here, brand new, was $40. And it just so happens, like I said, these 3 are for the John Deere over there. This black pulley is for the zero turn, and they actually use the same size bearing, except these ones have inner bushings. So the bushings just go, slide right in like that, and I just happened to luck out there. But this pulley grenaded, or the bearing grenaded off of the machine, and if you're unsure of how to do measurements and stuff, you can get the numbers off of the shield. These are shielded bearings, or the seal, I guess is what you would actually call it. But they have the numbers on them, and then you can get the sizes and stuff off of that online. The bearings came from eBay, and the bolts came from the local hardware store. If you have more than a few of these things, what you'll want to do is buy all the nuts and bolts and stuff in bulk, and then you will actually save some money. So probably in all of this, between all the nuts and bolts and the bearings, this was what? $8.50, $7.50, $4, and this one's probably $2, $3.69. So say 4, 8, 15, $15.50 for about $25 in here, and then another $30 for that. I've more than paid for this brand new pulley, but then from here on out, it doesn't really matter, because, you know, I have all the bearings to do this. I don't have to take this anywhere to do this. I literally just put a wrench on there, undo all the bolts, put in a new bearing, or take out the old one, put in a new bearing, bolt everything back up, and then it goes back onto the machine, and then I'm ready to go. So I guess I'll show you how I do this real quick, and you guys will see how we do this. So first things first is to drill out the rivets. And what we did was, I think this is probably a 1/8 inch drill bit, maybe. But we drilled the whole way through all the rivets going all the way around this pulley. You can see there's holes that go the whole way through. And I am widening out the holes now because we didn't use a big enough drill bit to have the bolts go the whole way through. So I've already started on this one, but you just go the whole way around. You'll probably have to take a screwdriver and pop these apart, but I would recommend you line these pulleys back up again. It probably doesn't matter, but in the event that it does, they're back together the way that they came, and there's no weeble wobble. This thing spins true. That weeble wobble is just on my finger, and it spins nice. So I'm going to do this to 2 of these, and I'll let you guys watch. It didn't really take that long to do this. You know, once you kind of get a system down for each one, it's really not that hard, and it's kind of monotonous, boring a little bit, but you know, it's just the same thing over and over and over again. Here I'm just using a cordless drill to drill out the rest of these rivets to make the holes bigger. You could use a drill press. I would recommend using a drill press for this to start out with, so that it's easier to do. But I used a center punch, or an automatic center punch, to start the holes so the drill bits don't wander. I do think it is a good idea to mark where the pulleys and stuff, where they came apart, so you can put them back together in the same orientation and whatnot, so that the holes will line up for the bolts. Because if you're off with one bolt and you don't put it back together the same way, it'll be off and it won't go together. I do wish we would have gotten grade 8 quarter 20 bolts, but I think those were a lot more expensive than these ones, and this is kind of a trial run for me doing this. I've seen this done before, but I figured I'd make a video about it and show you guys about doing this. It's a lot to start with, don't get me wrong. It takes some time and some money to redo these pulleys and stuff, but after that, the initial cost up front it's worth it for the rest of the lifetime of the machine. So I only did this till I only put one pulley on the machine, and we're going to run it for a while and see how it works. But I have a second one ready to go, so that's kind of nice. You know, one for each machine at least. There you go. That's how you can save some pretty big money, well, some money, on pulleys and stuff. You know, the only thing that goes bad in those is just the bearing. So, like I said, you know, I'm about 20 bucks more than what just this one pulley is, and I'm doing 3 of these. There's another 3 on there. There's another 1 of these on that mower, and then there's 2 more smaller ones. And actually, there's 4 of those. So 2, 4, 6 just for that mower that we have. So we have 2 sets, and then another 6 for the other deck. So, you know, 12 pulleys and, you know, $60 I think is pretty good. And then I can just keep swapping these out, just buy the bearings and stuff again and again. So I figured I would show you guys putting the pulley on, so you know I'm not doing a bait and switch thing here. So I put grease on the shaft for the pulley, so next time whenever I take it off, it'll be much easier to take off. And that is the new pulley with the bolts and the new bearing in it. And I actually forgot to put the belt in place because this piece here has a keeper to it, and I had to take it off again. And I've got the drive belt on the deck under the tractor. I also shined up some paint and stuff on the deck, trying to make it last longer. And here's that new pulley. It's this one right here. And I figured we'll fire the tractor up here, and I'm not going to mow anything, but I'm just going to turn on the blades, and then you guys can see that, yes, this pulley does work. And I think this will probably be what I do from here on out, is just replace the bearing, because that's the only thing that goes bad in the pulley themselves. Ever since I touched up the deck, this thing looks brand new. Well, at least the deck does. And boy, is it hot. It must be 95 degrees out here. I can't wait till fall comes. So there we go. Fixed that pulley, and hopefully that thing will last us a pretty long time. I repacked the bearing on the inside because the bearings I must have bought were a little on the cheap side and they didn't have much grease in them. So I figured I would repack the bearing for the idler pulley, and it seems to work okay. So hope everyone enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more, and hopefully we will see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching.